I was born in Nairobi many years ago, and I am the second born out of a family of 3 children. I have an older sister and a younger brother, and I live off Thika Road currently, where I am running a school. I'm actually a school manager, and that is quite different from what different from what you've introduced me as a makeup artist. But my day job is actually I run a school, and I work with regular children and special needs children, a kindergarten and primary. I love it. I love doing that. That's actually a family business. I went to school in Nairobi all through. Primary school, I went to Kilimani Junior Academy. I then went to Imani School, which was in Thika. I ended up in USIU, where I studied international relations. And I remember one of my most exciting times after I cleared my third year was when I got a job at Gina Jane. Gina offered me a job after I interned for her. So I think that was one of my major highlights when I was younger. I couldn't believe I'd landed a job with Gina.
And what did you do for Gina then?
It was PR, public relations, and that's a certain aspect in international relations. I think everyone expected me to go into political science or that kind of thing, but I decided to take on the PR angle. And I worked for her for about 4 years, and that is where now my career started in event management and marketing. My minor in USIU was also marketing, and I did that for 10 years. I actually worked in marketing and events for 10 years, and along those 10 years I met wonderful people who I'm still friends with. I ended up working at companies such as Capital FM. I worked for a clearing and forwarding company such as Transami. It was quite broad and vast. Courier company. And I was in the basically corporate world for 10 years. Until a friend of mine, Kevin Ombajo, who owns and runs True Black, offered me a position in his company as general manager to run the show for him. And I did. I decided to take on that, and I think I was there for, I would say, maybe about 2 years before I decided to go into self-employment.
Okay, and what triggered your move to self-employment?
I'm the kind of person who likes managing my own time. To be honest, I was not a very good timekeeper when I was employed. I was always late. I remember the general manager at Capital just saying, anyone who comes after this time must come and see me in the office. It felt like school. And Lorna was always on that list, but don't put that in. Well, basically time management was an issue. And I always felt, I want to be flexible with my, with the way I run things. I'm not very good with deadlines. I worry a lot, so it was very, very stressful for me. But little did I know that once I go into self-employment, it was going to be even worse. But to be honest, I met someone at True Black. She was an account manager there, and she gave me this idea about running and opening a spa. And I loved it, and I said, wow, that's interesting. I was really never a beauty kind of person. I never used to put on makeup. I was not a tomboy either. I just wasn't I was just kind of there in the middle, And but I wasn't really known for, Lorna, the girl who likes her makeup and is very fashionable. And when she gave me that idea, I was like, I think this is something that I could do. So initially it was just a business idea. We all want to make our millions before we hit the big 3-0, this kind of thing. And I then actually decided, I resigned from True Black, and I decided to partner with her. And I opened up we opened up a beautiful spa. It was known as House of Rock and Roses in Lavington. And now this is where I will say Lorna Mutegi was born.
Okay, so that's where your today everyday thing started from.
That's where my everyday thing started from.
Okay, you say that you run a school.
Yeah.
And you also run your makeup business.
Mm-hmm.
How do you balance the two, or how do you divide your time between the two?
Yeah. Well, time management now had to come in real handy. So, like I said, I thought I was going to be flexible being self-employed, but first of all, you have to have the drive. You have to, honestly, and I know this may sound cliche, but you have to honestly love what you do. And I think I consider myself very lucky and blessed that I am doing what I love to do. I do enjoy running the school and working with children. And every time I have an appointment in Westlands, which is where I'm based, my heart just I glow when someone calls me and says, let's meet up. And I'm just so excited and giddy inside. So you have to, well, for the school, I have to make sure I have a good team. I have to have the right people to work with in order for me to trust them enough to carry on while I'm away. But I don't stay away for too long because once I'm done with my appointments, I go straight back to school. So it's always busy, always busy.
What's the biggest, or what's your most defining moment in your career as a beautician?
Mugo, it's when my client leaves and says, I feel so good. I love the way you look. I love the way I look as the client. When she's smiling and she's truly happy, that's my most defining moment.
So each time
someone is ecstatic and happy about the service I've given, that's what I love the most. That's what I honestly love the most. Because for me, beauty is not the makeup. Beauty is not the hair. Beauty is who you are. So when I work on my clients, when I work on them, I always want to know who they are. Why do they want makeup to look like this? What kind of look do you want and why? And I try and get them to understand that you can't use makeup you can't use it as a facade. If you're not happy, I can put all the makeup on you and you still won't look so good. But if you feel good from inside, and you love who you are and you embrace who you are, then is when that combination, now when I work on you and then with that combination, that's now true beauty according to me. That's true beauty.
A lot of people say that a woman's confidence is as high as she looks. Do you believe it's the confidence that builds the looks, or the looks that build the confidence?
It's a confidence that builds the looks. I'll tell you one thing. During my time when I was running the spa, I ran it for 2 years, and unfortunately I had to close it. This was actually one of the worst and best lessons life threw my way. Because after the business closed, I had put all my savings in there, and I actually went down to ground zero. My name was being dragged around in Nairobi. I wasn't doing too well, Mugo. That's the truth. And as much as I walked around with my head held high, looking confident, you could tell. So I decided, at that time my sister was getting married, and so I had an opportunity to go to the UK for a month. And I ended up staying there for 6. Why? Because at some point in my life, everything was actually going south. My relationship wasn't working well at all. Like I said, I had a daughter who I never used to see because I was really just focused on the career. I've invested in a business that is not catching on. I started too big, and my confidence it took a banging. It really did. And this one of the worst times in my life. I didn't know, how did I get myself into this? I couldn't believe it, and I couldn't come back to Nairobi. I wasn't ready. In fact, if my sister didn't tell me, you can stay, I didn't know what I was going to come back to or for, At that time, what people were saying about me was bothering me. And that's not being confident. When you're confident, you can actually, it doesn't matter what you have to say about me, Mugo. I will just go about my business and not let that get to me. And during my time at the UK for the 6 months, my sister was at a very good place as a woman as well. So she really helped me out on this. I would listen to empowerment, tapes. I would read a lot. We would sit down and talk. And that was my defining moment. That is actually what helped me change my life. I came back to Nairobi with only 35,000 shillings in my pocket. And I wasn't sure what I was gonna do. All I know is while I was there, I trained myself because I just got into the beauty. I was like, this has to work. I really, really loved it. And with my 35,000 now, I said, okay, now we're going to start. I didn't have a job. My parents had just retired. They have told me, come and run the school. I'm like, that's not me. That's not my dream. And and I just went and I said, I'm just going to go and meet one person. Her name is Corinne. She's a hairdresser. I told her, Corinne, I need you to help me. At that time, she was, we had kind of kept in touch while I was away. And that is when my life started again, after hitting rock bottom. That is when my confidence level started. I had to sit and just get rid of all the negativity and, either telling yourself, okay, it is not your fault that the relationship didn't do well, or if it was your fault with the business, this is how you can correct it. And that is where my confidence levels came out. So when I came back, everyone was just like, oh my gosh, you look amazing. And I'm like, I feel amazing with my 35,000 shillings. Because here, I was okay here now. I forgave myself. I reconnected with the friends that I had, put aside for a long, long time. And I've never looked better. I've added on weight. Everyone used to be like, you're so thin. My skin was so gray and dull. I was very, very unhappy, and I didn't know I was. I had carried a lot with me for a long time. And once I was able to shed that off, now I started living life and appreciating it and taking on, the hardships and taking it on confidently. So confidence first.
Okay, so within this process, I'm sure you've learned quite a lot of things.
Yeah.
And there's 1,000,001 women or young people who have tried something, it fails, and they think it's the end of life.
Yeah.
What do you have to say?
Well, first of all, it's okay for them to feel like they have lost someone, because to me it felt a little bit like a death. Like, I can't believe I've tried something and it didn't work. This was not the plan. The plan was that I'd be successful, So for those who have tried and it hasn't worked, this is the best experience you ever get. Trust you me. If you feel that you still want to get into it, just rethink the plan. For me, I started too big. And the funny thing is, I was in marketing. You know how it goes with businesses. You're always told, grow into it. And funny, I went big and it didn't work, of course. I didn't have enough financing. So if life throws a curveball, I say take it on, and that no one else can ever give you a better experience than that. That's a life lesson that you will always use. It will only make you better. That I can guarantee. It will only make you better because you'll be wiser. You'll know what to expect. It will give you thick skin, and chances are that the next thing that you do will be a success. Chances will be very, very high.
Okay, so Lorna, tell me about Lorna Mutegi, the brand.
Yeah.
Where it's headed, where it's at right now, where you're going, and your plans.
Yeah. Well, Lorna Mutegi, the brand, is about bringing true beauty to the Kenyan woman, and it is targeted towards young girls, right up to mature women. And basically what it is about is I'm actually a trained skin specialist, and so I provide women with that information, and I provide them the services, what is commonly known as facial therapies. I'm also a trained nail technician, and I bring lots of creativity and glamour to the table when it comes to nails, because these days, we've got the acrylic overlays, we've got gel nails, we've got beautiful nail art. So whatever person you are, you can embrace that. You can embrace that style in your nails. And then of course there's the makeup aspect, where I work with brides. I work a lot with brides. I work with magazines where I go on for photo shoots. So I also do one-on-one consultations if you want to learn how to do your makeup, either for work or evening. If you want me to just come in and do you up for a special event, I can do that. And I'm mobile, I'm flexible, so I can always come to you. And then, I brought a little bit from my past, because with all my equipment from, the spa that I had some time back, a few years ago, I now have a mobile spa. And I work with groups. That's actually targeted at groups. So I can do corporate groups. If you want to do a spa party, you want to bring friends together, bring them for drinks, and then do a little bit of pampering. Yeah, that's actually a new addition to the Lorna Mutegi umbrella. Yeah.
Great. Lorna, you're going to be writing for Niaje.com.
I'm so excited about that. I can't wait.
So tell us, what can we expect from you now as a writer at Niaje.com?
Yeah. I think, in this day and age, we are bombarded with just so many things, so much information, so many products, and a lot of the questions that my clients or women ask me in general is, what product should I use? What's good for my skin? What's the way to go? How do you take care of this? How do you take care of that? So like I said, Lorna Mutegi is about true beauty. So I'm going to make it as real as possible. And so it's about empowering the woman to feel good about herself and show her how to then add on some vavavoom, into her life using, what we find in the market through makeup. The importance of taking care of your skin. You read this all the time. Whenever I open a magazine, there's always a section about what you should do and how you should do it. But I think I want to make it as real as possible. So all those myths that you hear, put toothpaste on that zit, is that true or not? You will find out on Niaje.com.